Yeah, what I'm going to work on today will be a spice chest. This spice chest came from Popular Mechanics. I think the plan is probably in a 1962-1963 issue, if I'm not mistaken. The original one was made out of pine. I'm going to be making this one out of chestnut, and for the chestnut it will be the old barn beam. So this is what the barn beam looks like, and after sliced up on the bandsaw, this is what you end up with, random width pieces. This is what the spice chest is going to look like when it's done, and in order to get the back, which is 11 3/16 inches, I had to glue a couple pieces together. But other than that, hopefully I'll have enough here. If not, then I'll have to cut some more of this beam up. So first thing I'm going to do is straighten out the edges of all this wood so that I know what I have to work with, and then I'll start cutting it down to dimensions. So what I have to do with these boards in order to use them is cut off the edges straight, obviously. A couple dimensions here. First of all, the back of the cabinet is 11 3/16 inches wide to the outside. It's 21 inches tall. The sides are 17 inches tall and 4.5 inches wide. All the dividers, which there are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all 10 3/16 inches long, 4.5 inches wide. Let's see if I've forgotten anything here. No, that's it. All right, and then of course these little dividers, they will also be 4.5 inches wide. So let me cut these down. I'm going to cut all of these boards right now down to 4.5 inches wide, and I'll worry about the little drawer fronts and drawers themselves after I get the basic cabinet made. I'll find out how much of the wood I have left, and since that's smaller, I'll be able to use the scrap. Next thing, I attach the two side pieces together with double-sided tape. I also put a little nail in there just to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. And I'm going to take them over to the jigsaw and cut out the top edge of it. Next thing you do is lay out the lines for your dividers going across and up and down. Now, it's 3 1/16 inch from the inside to the inside. You're dealing with 1/2 inch thick wood. So 3/16 inch from the inside to the inside, and from the bottom, the first one is 1 1/16 of an inch. What I like to do is use the actual wood itself. All right, so I've measured up 1 1/16 of an inch. Next, take a piece of the wood that I'm going to be using, which is milled down to a 1/2 inch thick. Put it up on that bottom line and just draw the line across. All right. Next, measure up 3 1/16 and do the same thing all the way up. So now I'm going to make the drawers, and the drawers are going to be, the front will be a 1/2 inch thick, the back will be 1/2 inch thick, and the sides will be 3/8 of an inch. So what I'm doing is I'm going to run it through the router with a 3/8 inch ravening bit. That will give me my grain running up and down. And that's the easiest way to do it. So let me show you. Okay, so I have my 3/8 inch, and the sides, as I say, will be 3/8 inch, so they'll fit together like that. So all I have to do at this point is to cut the drawer fronts, and they should be about 3 inches high. You'll have to measure your openings, but mine are about 3 inches high. So I simply cut this off into a series of 3-inch, and then I'll be able to put my sides on, and I'll show you that as I'm going along. All right, when you're starting to nail it, what you want to do is lay it out with all the lines so you know where the individual pieces go. And it helps to, again, draw it on the bottom and the top of each one of the cross members, and also on the back. Now I'm using old barn wood, and I want to keep it as rustic as I can, so there are holes and things in it. So to line up your lines in the back, just take your square, go over to the center of where the wood's going to go, set your square, come over to the other side, lay it against the edge, and just run the line up. Now, as far as nailing it, you can use pin nailer or a finish nailer. It's sort of a difficult decision because the pin nailer, if the nail happens to come out on the other side, you're not going to see it. If it comes out with the finish nailer, you are going to see it. However, when you're doing the back, it really doesn't matter that much because the nail comes out. It's just kind of hard to get it out. But if you're doing something that's going to show, you may want to consider the pin nailer. For example, that's what I use on the sides, so I don't really see any nail holes in the sides. So anyhow, now it's just a matter of putting the pieces in and putting it together. So 1, 2, another 1, and so on and so forth, going up the front. Determine how long the sides of your drawers are going to be. After you've cut out one face of the drawer, just drop it inside, put the square in there, right down to the bottom, and that'll tell you how long the side has to be. In this case, it's 4 1/4. You're doing that because there's you got this lip on here, so you can't just make the sides as long as the opening is. You have to take into consideration the size of the lip. So anyhow, the other way you can do it, of course, is drop this in and then put your side on top of it and then just mark it. So once you've got that determined, you take it over to the saw and you just cut out 12 of them and 24 sides and 12 bottoms. I made the section of the video the second time because it didn't turn out. So there's different kinds of wood here. But basically, this is how the drawer is made. As I said, you start with your wood, the width of the door, run it through your router, and make a 3/8 inch dado on both sides of it. And that is what you have here, your 3/8 inch dado. Then you can cut your size of your drawers as many as you need. Now, you may find that after you've made the cabinet, the drawers aren't all exactly the same. 3 1/16. You know, one might be 3 a quarter. Well, it wouldn't be that far off, but you may find that your drawers aren't all exactly the same. So just take that into consideration. You may not want to get ahead of yourself actually making the drawers. But the construction of the drawer is very simple. You've got the sides, and they're put into the little dado on the front. The back is set in, so that's cut the distance between your dados. That's the size of the back. The length is the depth of the cabinet, and then the bottom is simply whatever size the inside of the drawer is. You just put it in and nail it closed. All right. So it's a very simple drawer to make. Once you get going, you can make the drawer in just a couple minutes. So anyhow, that's how the drawers are made. It's all done. Started out as this, which is a beam from an old barn, and it ended up as this. Now, you notice I put a little butterfly up here to hold this crack together. This peg here really doesn't do anything. It's just decorative. To hold these cabinets up, what you do is you drill a hole in the back of the cupboard, and you install these in the wall, and then install the cabinet. And in order to get those holes lined up, I just take a piece of wood like this, take the drawer out, put this in, and then use the drill to drill it. So anyhow, as I said, I put the little butterflies in there. Got one in here, got one on the bottom, and it's got 6 coats of shellac, hand rubbed with the shellac and then some wax on it. Starting another one here. This one here is out of tiger maple. And by the way, don't expect the drawers to fit perfectly. You know, these are pretty tight, and they really shouldn't be that tight. I'm going to have to sand them down a little, but they may come up a little bit also. And what I do is I put it through the bandsaw. You know, you put the face towards the fence, and then just cut off like a 32nd of an inch. You could make the drawers a little shorter, but then when you push them in, they're flush, or they're not flush anymore. So anyhow, I like to make them just slightly proud, and then trim them down with a sander or a bandsaw. Anyhow, that's it. And if you decide to make it, figure on taking a weekend to do it. There you go. Thanks for watching.